So let's start with today's webinar. Not muted, great. My name is Sanja Kolundžija. I'm software architect at Docentric, but I'm nosy and like to fiddle with the different departments in our company, not only the development department, though it is my first choice. So we decided that the correct title for me would be Technical Lady. And I'm going to talk to you today about the Docentric Free Edition and what it can do for you and for your D365FO project. Before we start, please, because there are many people on the call, so unfortunately we don't have time for live questions. If you have them, then if you have already Docentric installed and you have some product-related questions, please send them to our support. And if you have some questions related to product in general, about its full edition, maybe, and or if you would like to have a live demo one-on-one scheduled for your company specifically, then please contact us at sales@docentric.com. So let's start and see what did I plan to show you today. First, we need to start with a short introduction about our company and about our free edition version. And then we will dive directly into live demo, where we will first have one slide discussing the most important improvements to a given topic. In this case, first one will be print destinations, where we also started improving the standard D365. So we will first always have one slide that is summarizing the main improvements that Docentric made to that particular group of functionalities, and then it will be immediately followed by a live demo. And so we will continue after the print destinations. We will discuss and demonstrate the improvements that Docentric made to print archive, then to document management attachments, then to license plate labels, even though our main motive there was to improve or to enable using Docentric templates, which is the main feature of our full edition, instead of ZPL layouts. But then along the way, we identified a lot of things that could be improved generally about the whole user experience. So also our free edition got some benefit out of this adventure. Email templates that are used for alerts and workflows, we made them much more comfortable and flexible. We will see that as well. We made so many improvements to alerts that we like to call a bundle of those improvements Alerts Plus+, and we had already several community sessions on different webinars and conferences, and it is always well accepted, and it is always accepted as a community session. It's obviously a very hot topic. And because whoever is working with reports obviously needs to deal with print management, which is very complicated and not so well documented. So with each thing we learn about print management, we either add some articles, some explanations, or also some really important functionalities that are helping in your handling of print management setup. So let's start. And introduction, as I said, would be a little bit about our company and also a little bit about the free edition and our decision to provide it. So let's start with the short introduction about our company. It has been founded in year 2010 when we came to the market with another product that later turned out to be a core of our full edition product. We call it the Docentric Toolkit, but ever since we integrated it into AX 2012 and later D365, it is just one part of a Docentric AX product. Companies obviously specializing in reporting and document automation. And today we are going to talk about our flagship product, which is Docentric AX, and it has two flavors, full and free editions. They're in essence the same product, and only with the full edition license, you unlock the full edition features. Just really a short sentence about the full edition, and I promise I won't be bothering you with it because you came here to talk about or to learn about the free edition. So the main feature of our full edition is the possibility to use our Microsoft Word-based template designer instead of an SSRS designer, which then empowers your non-developers like functional consultants, business analysts, key business users to be the owners of the templates of the designs and to work with them. At the same time, you are freeing your developers to do the development intensive work. How to get our product, free or full version? Simply request a download, which is, so this link, I believe our marketing team will later publish this PowerPoint somewhere as well. So if you follow this link, it will take you to the page Download Free Edition. You need to leave few details about yourself and click this download, which is going to send us information about it. We will ask you a few additional questions and then provide you a link to downloading our models. You can install and start using the product right away. There are no hidden tricks or conditions in it. And what is important, what is currently free will always remain free. So you don't have to worry that after a year, something that you are so much dependent on suddenly requires the license. Okay. The opposite sometimes happens, something that we sometimes decide to be part of the full edition. We decide to relax it and to leave it under the free edition. Okay, right now we have something above 700 users of our full edition, and in total, full and free edition, about 3,000 installations. So as you can see, there are approximately, the ratio is 1 to 4 between the free and full edition, or the opposite. Obviously, this number is increasing with the increasing number of companies who are using Docentric, but recently we made statistics, and for a period of 1 year prior to that, in total, there were more than 100 million documents processed through Docentric. And on average, we have 5 to 10 download requests for full or free edition every day during last few months. So why did we, as a Docentric, decide to provide a Docentric free edition? Well, I can challenge that with the opposite question, why not? But as far as we at Docentric know, we are the only ISV solution that is giving really fully featured product for free to everyone interested. And how did it start? We all know that our whole community is getting a lot of support from MVPs to be Microsoft employees and so on. And the obvious way to give them back is to do the same, to be active on forums, to read questions, answer questions if you know them, to write some high quality articles. And we are doing that at Docentric for sure. We have been doing it since ever, but because we love challenges, we decided to go one step further, and we got this crazy idea of giving away some features that are useful for most of the functional, for the consultants of for F&O and for the users. We actually started already on X 2012 by improving the standard print destinations in a way that we made their counterpart as Docentric print destination. So instead of standard SSRS email print destination, there's Docentric email print destination, and so on. Everybody who wanted ever to send an email, like invoice with email from D365, it figured out that there is no email body and there is such a no-go. And that's something that we fixed already on X 2012. And then when D365 appeared, we started porting our product. Obviously, we first ported that core, which is a possibility to use our templates. But then when we started dealing with the print destinations, we said, you know, there's something we have there already done, and every consultant out there and every user out there would like to have it. So let's give it out for free and see what's going to happen. Worst thing, nobody's going to use it. So, okay, little better thing, there will be bugs found and people will tell us about it. So, okay, we're going to improve our product. But better scenarios that really happens and that we were hoping for was that our company and our product will be recognized as high quality company and product. Of course, we will be, by the way, branding everything, but we will somehow gain your confidence, and we will learn from you about your problems, pains, and we will integrate the solutions into our next releases. So this turned out to be a real success, and somehow internally how we feel, we're working on a great product that will be used by many people out there because they don't have to pay for it. And it becomes kind of addictive. So with every new release, we are always trying to provide something also for the free edition, not only for full edition, which is obviously feeding us. So we have to take care of that as well. Also, big motivator is this. We know that Microsoft is in a hurry to deliver new features quickly, and then they often forget to polish them. On the other hand, our company culture is really excellence, and then we take whenever there is something that is related to our core business, which is document generation and distribution, we take it, we polish it, and we like also to add what is missing and what will be helpful to everybody. And finally, today, I plan to show you some of the most important groups of features where we made the most significant improvements to the standard. So let's start. The first thing where we started, and I think Docentric Free Edition is most recognized by this, are the improvements that we made to print destinations, mainly to these three, email, file, and printer print destination. So, but before we dig into them, there is one thing that is common to all of them and to some other things, but tightly linked to the print destinations, that is Docentric placeholders. So placeholders are obviously some generic expression for something that you need to put somewhere, and it's going to provide a space for some content that will be then later populated in runtime. In scenarios with D365, here are a few examples listed. For example, if you want to save something to SharePoint and you want the folders to automatically also create some folders that will be dynamically populated, for example, I don't know, by account number, to have a folder and then everything linked to that account number in that folder, or maybe by the year and month and maybe even day of printing the document and so on, then obviously you can use, obviously the only way, or maybe the most convenient way, is to use a placeholder that stands for account number, for example, and in runtime it would be resolved as the actual account number, D001, US 005, and so on and so on, and such a folder will be created on SharePoint. It's this example here. Meaningful file names, of course, you know that with standard file names can be only given as static content, and file will be always named like that, but you can have some personalized names of files, of folders, content in emails, and so on. Docentric implemented three types of placeholders. Two of them are supported with our free edition. One of them we call standard placeholders. They're common to all reports, things like current date, time, information about the user, about the worker, and so on. We will see that immediately in live demo. Custom placeholders, they are also implemented by Docentric. They are report specific. For those among you who are familiar already with Docentric, you know that we are providing one additional model, which we call replica model, where not only that we are providing the templates for Docentric, but also some report-specific data source provider classes. We call them DSP classes. Well, in those DSP classes, we are implementing these custom placeholders, and we implemented those that we thought would be useful to most of our clients and partners. There's the third type of Docentric placeholders. We call them user-defined placeholders, and they are supported only in our full edition. They allow users, so without the development, to add additional placeholders. So with this introduction, let's see this in practice. And for that, I will bring up my dev box. Here it is. When you install Docentric, you can find it under Organization Administration as these last few menu items here. And there is also a workspace, so I'm going to go into it. Here are some most important links that you would be frequently using when working with Docentric, including also a convenient access to print management so that you don't need to keep searching for it in all these menu items, but they are immediately there. But for the placeholders, there are many different locations where you can find a list of available placeholders. One common place for everything is this one, all report placeholders. So without any filtering, we just show you per report. And also there are some, because initially this is filtered for all report specific placeholders. And these are the other type, the standard placeholders. Let's see them first. Standard placeholders, as I said, some company-related information, some current date time related information, something about the environment, about user, about worker. So you can use these placeholders at the name of the placeholder at. In this form, we don't have a helper down below, but I will show it later in other forms. And of course, report-specific placeholders, and per report, all the things that we decided to implement. And if you're using Free Edition, then your developers or developers of your integration partner would need to follow the same pattern to implement some additional placeholders. And for example, if I filter only for sales invoice, because that's most frequently used, I mean, the most frequently used report is this one, based on our experience. So if I start from here to here, these are the placeholders that we thought would be useful to everybody, like invoice ID, due date, sales order, related information, contact name, customer account ID, and so on and so on. So you can use any of these. Or if you check purchase order, maybe I need it first to do this and then it's purchase order, so I needed just this. And starting from here and up to here. Some of these are user-defined placeholders, so ignore them. It's that type that's supported in the full edition. And these here, which are marked as custom, they come to you out of the box and you can start using them right away, like purchase ID, purchase order date, vendor account again, customer acquisition, delivery, terms, name, address, and so on, and so on. Okay, so this is one common place where we see all in one place, but wherever we thought it's convenient, usually where a report context is known, we also added a simple link to placeholders so that you can easily see what you are looking for. For example, I will start from print management and go into one print destination, let's say for customer invoice. So here we know that it goes for this report, and let's see how the print destination will look. We will later go into details about the print destination, but right now I just wanted to show you the link to the placeholders form. So if I click here, I will see a list of available custom placeholders implemented for sales invoice report. And if I click one of them, for example, this one, here below, I immediately see what I need to apply wherever I need it in my print destination. And if I want to have more of them, I can multi-select. So let's say that I plan to use in the email body something like dear, and where would be contact name, dear contact name. Okay, please, okay, let's start from the beginning and select. So, dear contact name, please find enclosed invoice ID, this which is due on this date. And then, okay, for example, I would be able to use also user-defined placeholder to say, and for that, please use your, I don't know, currency account. And then I would select all of this, copy, and then place it, for example, in the email subject, and then, of course, not subject, body, and then, of course, add the missing fixed text so that it all together makes sense. Okay. So that was about the placeholders. And now when we have digested them, let's go through the print destinations. And the one where we made the most obvious changes is the Docentric email print destination. This is what you know that you have with standard, just the two fields, CC field and subject. Subject has to be fixed, so whatever you write there, it's always going to be like that. How is that file, that report that you generate when it's attached to the outgoing email, how is that going to be named? You don't have any influence on it, and it's going to be named based on the report name or menu item name. So I know that on my environment, invoice is attached as show invoice. So really not the nicest thing. So with Docentric, you have all those things that hurt you and many more, as listed here, like some additional email tokens, dynamic subject, dynamic document name, and so on and so on. Let's see that in practice. Okay, so I will start from here because these things are not specific to this print destination. They are common to all print destinations, and actually this one is part of the full edition. This one is also part of the full edition. This is linked to archiving and a few other things, so let's skip it for now. Let's start from here. Here in the to field, as in the standard, usually, especially when you are dealing with the print management, not especially, when you are dealing with print management reports, then you usually need to use some email tokens, standard functionality by D365. And we extended the tokens form. So in addition to this left part, which is standard, we added few more email tokens. And the reason for that is that we also have we have a lot of improvements generally to emailing, but we really don't have time to talk about all of them during this session. And in those improvements, we are dealing with the situation when some of the tokens or all of the tokens are not resolved, so that this to field would remain empty and email message cannot be sent. We are allowing you to take some corrective actions, like sending to some alternative print destination. And that's why we supported also some other email tokens that have been requested by various partners or clients. Of course, we don't implement everything that is asked for, but things that we think make sense to most of our partners and clients. So standard plus a little bit of additional email tokens. Then the subject, as you can see, placeholder used, one here, then another here, and as you can see here in help, okay, also for invoice account, so the third placeholder as well. So by this subject would be something like invoice or credit note or whatever the document title is, number, then the ID of that document, and then for the account this and this. This feature here is very useful because with standard, how are you testing your setup? You simply make sure you either set here your own email address, send out the document, the email, and then in your inbox, wait for it, and then check how it looks. Or another thing, you leave email tokens, but then you make sure to use a document for which the token would be resolved as your own email address, and then do the same thing. Well, instead of it, we allow you to use the complete setup as it should be, but then instead of really sending email, we give you a chance to download it to your download folder, and then you can inspect it and see if everything is as you expect it to be. Let's move on. Attachment. What is attachment? Well, that file that is generated as a report and attached to the outgoing email. As I said, here we don't have a chance to specify it, which means that it's going to be show invoice on my environment at least. Here we give you a chance to give it whichever dynamic name you want. I just repeated the same thing as I had in subject, but as you can imagine, whatever these placeholders allow you in combination with some fixed text, you can go for it. Next, in addition to CC, which standard has, we said, okay, why not add also BCC? Sometimes it makes sense. And also this is very cool feature because with standard, mails always go from the user who initiated printing. So they're coming from John or Mary at your company, and you will agree with me that this is much more professional, accounting or purchasing and so on. Finally, email body, which is actually the first thing that we did back then on AX 2012. Without email body, by the way, if you measure a spam score of your SSRS emails, they will get at 8 out of 10. So there's definitely room for improvement. And that is mainly because of the missing email body. So it might happen that your recipients don't get your mail because it ended up in their spam folder. Here you have this full HTML body editor with all this. What you see is what you get, tools so that you can use styles and fonts and sizes, bold, italic, and other types of formatting, coloring. Here, images, tables, symbols, alignments. Again, a list of placeholders, though I prefer the previous form that we saw earlier. And even somebody can prepare the setup for everyone and share their HTML code so that the others can use it as needed. As you can see here, I used also a bunch of placeholders. Everything that is bolded here is a placeholder. Okay. Here earlier, I skipped something that is part of the full edition. So this here is part of the full edition, mainly used by our clients here in Europe, where they need to send multilingual reports. And then with this feature, they can specify different templates per language, for example, so they can have the body, the subject, and the sender account and display name specific for a given language, so that, for example, here, instead of saying invoice for blah, blah, I can use the German language or Italian language and so on. In US, because you guys joined me in my evening term, which probably means that you are in US, smaller percentage of our clients are dealing with the multilingual reports, but for those that do, this would be a cool feature, only it is part of the full edition. And one more thing on this form, which is full edition, it is this one here, possibility to specify rules by which you would be adding some additional attachments to the outgoing email, not only the report itself, but with this setup, I'm adding terms and conditions, I'm adding the attachments that are found under the document management attachments linked to my current account that are of a given category and even of a given description, and also everything from the source table, which is sales order in case of sales invoice, and all from the lines. So many possibilities there for users to have nice setup, but this is part of the full edition. Okay. This would be about the email print destination. And what I want to demonstrate is to print one report through print management with this option so that we see how easy it is to then inspect your result. So I will go into the journal with customer invoices and take just the first one because I know I have everything nicely configured there, and I'm going to print it through print management. So now SSRS has started, it's preparing its data source, still not. Okay, now SSRS is generating the data source while this dialog is there. And when the dialog disappears, Docentric will create the report and email message and attach that report and also additional attachments if needed. So this is now a lot of full edition features, of course, but you can use this same functionality with the free edition, only you would be using the SSRS designs. And here above, okay, this warning is because I have encrypted the document, but with a weak password. That's why I'm getting the warning. Otherwise, nothing serious. And here, this is my message that has just been created. So I will download it. Here it is, and open it. And here you see from accounting at Docentric to that was email token resolved as this email address, subject. This was the document title, so it's obviously invoice, not something else. Resolved placeholder for invoice ID, for account. The same things here on the attachment, on the first attachment, which is my report. I can double click to prove it. It's password protected. This is part of the full edition. And also digitally signed. So you see I have some signatures as well here, and also some signature appearance, again, part of the full edition. But this was my document, my invoice. In addition to that, all these other attachments came based on those rules for the additional attachments. And here in the email body, you see those placeholders nicely resolved. I could really start using some newer documents than 2015, and a bunch of placeholders here, and that's about it. Now, this is editable email, so I can modify it here further, add some recipients, remove, modify the content, and then send it. Many of our clients are using it in this way for some really special reports like quotations, or you can just close it here, and this was just for the testing purposes. Now I can go back and just say, okay, I will remove this flag, and now I'm ready for production, for example. Okay, so we finished with the email print destination, and let's see what is it that we did with the file print destination. Let me remind you of the standard. You have only the possibility to specify a fixed text for the name of the file and nothing else.
Sanja,
yes?
Can I have a question?
I asked at the beginning that questions are sent to.
Okay. Agreed.
Because if everybody would be asking questions, we would be only talking about questions and answers. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. And regarding the Docentric, obviously, you can achieve the same result as with standard if you just turn on this download output file. Obviously, you can use the placeholders as well here, but there are many other possibilities for usually some kind of integrations. We heard from many partners that almost on every project they need to do some kind of SharePoint integration or saving to attachments or to Azure Blob Storage or whatever. So one by one, we kept covering these, and believe me, we have a lot of other things on our roadmap, like Google Drive, I think, and some other things as well regarding just this part of the integration. Other than that, I think in our backlog we have ideas for next several years. So let's see this in action. I'm not going really to print, but I'm going to demonstrate and comment a little bit further. So let's see the file print destination. As I said, actually, Docentric placeholders you can use in every Docentric print destination in every string field. Feel free to use them as you wish. And also they can be applied in some other places, not only in print destinations, but right now we're talking about this. So let's move on. And as I said, by doing this, you will get the same result as with standard. The file with this name will be created and downloaded to your download folder. But let's see what else we can do. We can save to Azure Blob Storage. And here, if you're using a free edition, you need to leave this empty because it's going, free edition is working only with this built-in Azure storage account that comes with your D365 subscription. If you need to use some external Azure storage accounts, then it's going to work only with the full edition. So selecting external accounts works with full edition. And here you need to type some combination of fixed text and placeholders as your big business requires to specify where to store that file. And you can also play with this feature. For example, if you are expecting to reprint some documents, then what to do in that case? Should you keep adding them, or should you override the existing files? If you can see, for example, now when I have selected to save here, I have this little asterisk sign here telling me that this is active, and I can in parallel print to all of these if I really want to. Azure files are a nice way to actually get the documents available on your network shared folders, because some of you maybe know and some of you maybe don't know that you are able to map Azure files, so shared folders, Azure shared files, Azure file share, sorry. I haven't been using this expression for a while. You're able to map your Azure file share with your network shared folders, so that even people who are not users on D365 and even not don't have access to Azure Blob Storage, they're able to access them through these shared network folders. The same concept as with Azure Blob Storage. With the free edition, you need to leave this empty, and it's going to use the internal, the built-in Azure storage account. With full edition, you can use these as well. And again, type in the file share and folder path. Folder path usually makes sense to make some combination of the fixed text and placeholders if you want to dynamically create subfolders. And in that case, make sure to select this create non-existing folders, otherwise you would get error. And again, what to do if a file with such a name already exists. Saving to SharePoint, very often used by our clients. Site URL, folder path, again, people use often here combination of fixed text. They find it through this picker on a given URL, and then they also extend it with, as I said, account number, or combination of those standard placeholders like current year / current month, and so on. So whichever your business requires. Usually from SharePoint, you then have further some Power Apps to do some automation. We are able also to populate SharePoint, those files added to the SharePoint. We are able to populate them with metadata, but that is part of our full edition. We can save back to the document management attachments. They are these here. Okay, so, and in particular on this journal, I got this attachment here. Exactly, you see customer invoice, and I can open it. You see, so it came as a result of this guy is giving me trouble. Okay, I wanted to do this and this. Okay, so it came as a result of printing this journal with this setup here. Save to, probably I said to journal because we saw it on a journal, but you can also save to the source table, which is a source of which when posted creates this journal. So in case of sales invoice, this is sales order. You can save to account table, which is a customer. You can save to legal entity if you want to, or if none of these works for you, then with a little bit of coding, you can specify which linked record should be the one where to save your attachments. And also here you have a chance to pick a document type because you know that behind the scenes, each document type is linked to a certain storage type like SharePoint or Azure Blob Storage or database. So with specifying the document type, you are also controlling that with the standard. When you are specifying, when you're adding attachments, they are always going with the default document type, which is file. Okay. And finally, if you are one of our rare clients who is on-prem, then you can also save to file system. Here you need to provide some network shared folder path, and you are going to get it there. Okay, so it was about the file print destination. For the printer print destination, I'm not going to waste a lot of time because we notice that printers are being used less and less frequently. But some things still are there sometimes if you need them. For example, with standard, standard has a pretty clumsy lookup, while we made it much nicer and searchable and filterable. Let me just quickly show that. For the standard printer print destination, you see what you have, and imagine that it is 200 or 300 printers, which some of our clients have. Then it is, annoying and error-prone job to find the report you're looking for. Of course, at least for the first time until it's saved in your usage data, if it is some ad hoc printing, or until you save it here in the print management. With Docentric printer print destination, you get this lookup where you can filter, sort, so all those types of things. So for example, I know that I have PDF in 2 printer names. So with this, I can really find them and then do with them what I need. Okay. There are few improvements that we made, but I'm not going to demonstrate them. I will just quickly say what they mean. As I said, questions about these are so rarely coming to our support, and I cannot believe that we made them so perfectly clear that nobody needs to ask something. So that's why I assume that people are rarely using them. Default printer gives you a chance to specify per user group, and per company a default printer, which makes the most sense in combination with print management reports that you configure for a printer. In that case, you can say print to a default printer, and then whichever user is printing, he will get the result on his or her configured default printer. These are allowing you to restrict the combinations of, the combinations of, now I'm thinking that this is probably the functionality of the full edition. I'm going just to say in a sentence what it is, but I forgot that this is probably full edition. It allows you to restrict the combinations of printers and reports. It makes sense a lot for people in US who are printing checks, where you want to prevent that checks are accidentally printed on some non-check printer, or the opposite situation, that non-check report is printed on a check printer where you have all those check papers already nicely stacked. And finally, user allowed and favorite printers, I believe they are part of the free edition. You can specify for the combinations, the allowed combinations of users and printers. So basically which users are free to use which printers, or in a little relaxed mode, users can for themselves specify what are their favorite printers, and then to say, I only want to see my favorite printers in the printer lookup, or I want to see them first and then the rest, and so on. Okay, so we're not going to demo that. Let's move on to the print archive. There are so many things that we made there and finally made print archive useful, because without Docentric improvements, I am pretty sure that print archive is completely useless. Let me show you how it looks now. And if you have your D365 in front of you without Docentric, please go and check print archive and you will be surprised. You probably never ever used it because it's so useless. It has just, I think, this first column or maybe the first 2 columns, and that's it. No, description came from us, so probably just the one. So you merely know that something was printed, but good luck with finding it. So that's why we added all this metadata here on the right side. So a description so that you can quickly figure out what it was, which print destination was used, and a little bit more information, like condensed information about the print destination. But they can also check exactly visually represented the print destination that was used for printing this particular document. Then further on, which document was printed, the date on the document, what was the type of the account, if applicable, and which number, what was the source, because I was probably printing some journal, so what was the source of that journal, purchase order, sales order, and which number, okay? Notice that all of these are jump ref, so I can jump to this customer or to this customer or to this vendor. I can jump to these orders. Further on, here's the journal. I can jump to the journal. And also when configuring the print destination, here under the options, when I say save to print archive, I'm also able to specify the note where I can also use a placeholder. So here, obviously, I was using a placeholder for user ID, and here I was using this fixed note, so I can use the combination of them. Then what's next? If I go, for example, to this account, you see I have 104 3 times. So if I go to that, this was added by Docentric, so I can check if I go now back to the print archive, I will see only the documents of this vendor filtered here. You see. Okay, let's go to the unfiltered view. What next? I can show preview and then quickly see the report printed, like this one, or this one, or this one, and so on. Okay. What else? I can, if the email print destination was used, like in this case, this is enabled so I can see the whole email message. It was also, we have archived it as well. So here I can see it, how it looked with the document and with some additional attachments and some dummy text and so on. Then I can download one or multi-selected reports. And I can download them as separate PDF files or zip them together, or my favorite as a merged PDF file, because once I heard from a client, and I think it was a trigger for this functionality, they said they're archiving everything, and then at the end of the month, they go and print a hard, they need also hard copy for whichever reason. So they go through all the archive documents and print them. And they need, you know, with standard, you have just somewhere here, view or something like that, and they click here, view, print, another view, print, view, print. You can imagine how annoying it is. Here, with one click, I got this merged PDF, and now I can print it, and everyone is happy. So I think I've covered mainly these improvements for the print archive. Let's move on because the time is quickly passing by. Document management attachments. Okay. Once again, what are document management attachments? Let me go to, let's say, yes, no, I will go to my purchase order confirmations, and from there I will go to the first purchase order. I have some nice examples there when it goes for attachments. On a header, I have 4 attachments. And this is what standard has to offer. By the way, we have extended this form with this fast tab mainly for the for using them in combination with the additional email attachments functionality. But then we learned that some clients are using those things that we added, like some category tags, just to further somehow segment their attachment. So feel free to do that as well. But anyway, you see this form is pretty annoying. If you're looking for something, you have to keep clicking through all those attachments. That's why first and main thing, we enabled watching them in grid. So here it's much easier to figure out what you're looking for. And then not just that, you can do some modifications here. When I would say edit, I could go one by one, change them. Or what I also like, I like to do some bulk modifications. Let's say that I want all of these moved into internal. We had maybe some wrong type of integration, which was setting all these restrictions to external, but we actually need them to be internal. I will just say update attachments and update the restriction into external. And I will say, okay. And after one confirmation, they will all, I didn't click it, they will all become what I thought. Yes, they were internal. I moved them to external, or no? No, no, I selected the wrong one. I said external while they were already external. So I want to say update them all to internal. I guess that's what I wanted to do. Yes, now they are internal. Okay, as with the print archive, we can see the previews. Well, I had some dummy texts here, but this is the real document. As you can see, the others are just some dummy texts. I needed some attachments for testing something different. Okay, I will remove this preview. What else? That would be it. I think a lot. Okay, that was the demo. License plate labels, how are we with time? Not great. Our main purpose of supporting Docentric for license plate labels was the main target were our users of the full edition, which have this great possibility of handling the templates, designing the templates in Microsoft Word. But now for license plate labels, they needed to use those ZPL layouts, and they were begging us to help there. So of course, we made our effort to do it, but while learning about this whole functionality, we learned how there are many troublesome elements of the whole process of configuring this document routing setup mainly. And so some things, when we fixed them, we said, okay, why not let the free edition users use them as well? So what we enable our full free edition users is to use this simplified document routing setup and testing it. We will see that in action, and also reprinting. So when I can demonstrate it by going into the document routing setup. Here it is. Now for the full edition, this fast tab here below makes sense, where you are configuring the Docentric templates. But for the free edition, this is what is new. We added the possibility to specify query not only on the header level as with the standard, but also on a line level, which makes your configuration much simpler and more maintainable, because with what standard has to offer with the query only on the header level, whenever you need to make some minor modification on it or variations to it, you need to add a new setup here, and then you get tons of them, and they're completely unmanageable. With Docentric, with this feature, you can have much smaller number of these header level or top level settings, and then for each of them specify the variations here on the line level with its own query. So that is the first modification, which allows you to have much simplified setup. Second modification or improvement is we're giving you a chance to test your setup to figure out when you are printing something, why doesn't it print, or to know in upfront where and how it can be printed. So when I say, for example, this label here, where can it be printed? Do I have any setup for it? I can test and I will see, yes, I have a setup for this combination, for this printer and this layout. And then I can further narrow this condition and say, for example, is this user mobile user able to print this label? It is. But for example, I know that this user isn't configured anywhere. So I will get already information that there's no document routing header. That means that this condition. So already here I can troubleshoot. It's much easier than doing cut and try method. And finally, I can print directly from D365, either by automatically using whatever setup has to provide, or by providing ad hoc conditions here and dealing with this, the result. Okay. Email templates, I don't know. I think I was faster than this morning, and it turns out I'm slower. Okay. Email templates for alerts and workflows. You know probably all what are these email templates, and you know that for them you need to provide to upload HTML code. Well, first of all, we are allowing you to use the same editor as in the email print destination. There are placeholders in the standard, but now we give you overview of all available placeholders, and not only that you can see them, but also you can pick what you need. With additional classes, we provide some base classes, but you can also implement your own extensions and then support some additional placeholders, and also you can specify some attachments to be added. I will just show you the form, how it looks, and leave it to you to experiment further with it. Let's go to organization email templates, for example, and these are some of the standard templates where you see this is what was added by Docentric. And when we say don't use Docentric email editor and want to edit the email body, the only thing you can do is to browse and point to some HTML code and upload it, and then it's going to be presented here. While this one I made, sorry, if I say use the Docentric email editor, then we have that same what you see is what you get editor. And also here we have a picker, a list of all available placeholders coming from standard and also coming from the Docentric implemented classes for placeholders. Okay. Here you can say that you want to use it for also for workflows or for alerts, and as email template. And also here you can add some additional attachments, and based on some tags, attachments on the related context record will be picked. I think that's what is explained here, but I really invite you to see it for yourself. Alerts++, so many features that I don't have time to demonstrate. I will demonstrate just this last one, but please read what is written here. We have a lot of articles on that topic. I think we have also on our YouTube channel, if you go to YouTube and search for Docentric, you will find added some recordings of some sessions that my colleague Miha had, who also implemented many of these alerts. And yes, I think that's the best way to learn about in 1 hour about everything that is written here. We are just at the end of the session that we planned for today, so I need to go here, but look for this one. Look on our webpage for the article, one of the latest articles about this. It's really fantastic feature, so I invite you to learn about it yourself. We made so many things about print management. This data entity is used a lot by many clients. You know that when you refresh the database from production to, let's say, UAT, Microsoft deletes your settings. So this allows you to export the print management from production and import to UAT. With our latest release, we provided print management utilities. It provides a lot of useful features for full edition, but also some useful things for free edition, like a tabular overview of all settings, filtering them, so it will be easier for you to troubleshoot some things. And with the next release, I don't have it to present it. I don't have it on my code, but here's the link to our newest article, which is showing that this has been asked for ages from Microsoft, but they ignore it. So with the next release of the Docentric, you will have possibility for save and for the back buttons. We hope you are going to like it. Okay. And finally, let me just finish by inviting you to an awesome Dynamics 365 and Power Platform Community Conference, which is called Dynamics Minds. It's organized by Docentric. First time it was organized this year, and it was a great success, so we decided to keep doing it. It's going to be next year from 27th to 29th May on the beautiful Mediterranean coast of Slovenia. And look just for these comments that we got from people that you must recognize from the community and from Microsoft. These people spend half of their life maybe on conferences. So if they said that it's the best conference ever, best event ever, the best I have been to, I think you should believe them, or at least you could believe them. And many others. I just picked a few of them. So I hope to see you all next year in Porto Roche. thank you so much for staying with me, even though I went over the planned time. Visit our webpage. You will find a lot of useful resources. You can write to me directly with questions, and especially to our support as well. They are more responsive than I am, so I would actually prefer support at Docentric than Sanja Kolundžija at Docentric. You can write me to tell me how fabulous this presentation was. And finally, if you have some sales-related questions, if you would want to have a personalized one-on-one demo, our sales will be happy to provide it to you. So thank you all for attending the session, and see you. Bye-bye.